They plan everything. They double-check. They build systems. They make sure nothing, and no one, can pull the ground from under them. But Taurus wasn't born calm. Taurus became calm. To survive. And that calm. It's not peace. It's control. This is not just about being organized. It's about a deep, ancient fear that if they let go, everything will fall apart. Because in a world that never stops shifting, Taurus learned to become the anchor. For others. For themselves. For the entire universe if they had to. But here's the secret no one tells them. You can't evolve if you want release. And you can't receive if your fists are always clenched. Taurus doesn't just resist change. They fight it. Not with rage. But with silence, stillness, and stubborn presence. They hold on to jobs they hate. Homes that don't feel like home. Identities that no longer fit. Because it's safe. Because it's familiar. Because the unknown is louder than their desire. And comfort often screams louder than destiny. If you're a Taurus, or someone with strong Taurus placements, you've felt it. The dread when a routine is disrupted. The anxiety of stepping into something that isn't fully mapped. The quiet panic of not being able to control the outcome. Even if the path is killing them softly. They'll stay on it, if it means they don't have to start from zero. But Taurus. What if control isn't keeping you safe? What if it's what's keeping you stuck? They are Earth. Steady, fertile, grounded. But Earth can become too hard. Too compact. Too resistant to rain. And then nothing grows. That's the shadow of Taurus. To protect the seeds so tightly, they forget it needs to break open. This is where the real story begins. Because Taurus isn't just about resistance. They're about manifestation. But you can't manifest your higher path while clinging to what was never meant to last. And you know this. In your bones. In your breath. You feel the shift coming. The crack in the foundation. You hear the whispers. Let go. Stop controlling. Something bigger is waiting. But your mind says no. Not yet. Not until you're sure. But certainty is the illusion. And your destiny doesn't wait for your comfort. It waits for your courage. Control is safety. But it's also a cage. And Taurus, you've made your cage look beautiful. Soft blankets of routine. Golden bars of productivity. Rituals, systems, patterns, plans. But deep beneath that stillness, there's a restlessness. A vibration. A pressure building. Because your soul knows what your ego keeps denying. You were not born to repeat. You were born to rise. The hardest part for Taurus isn't movement. It's initiation. Because to begin again is to risk everything you've already built. To change direction feels like betrayal. Of your own effort. Of your past self. Of your identity. But what if your past self was never meant to be permanent? What if your structures were stepping stones, not prisons? You fear change because it feels like loss. But sometimes, change is just truth catching up to you. Taurus energy clings. Not out of arrogance, but out of devotion. You honor what you've built. You honor what you've chosen. You honor what you've endured. And that's beautiful. But sometimes, what you're honoring is already dead. And you keep watering it anyway. Because it's what you know. Because it once made you feel whole. But Taurus, you can't resurrect what's meant to decompose. You can only compost it. Let it become something new. The truth is, your control is costing you your magic. The longer you grip the known, the more you block the miraculous. The universe is trying to send you more. More joy. More expansion. More depth. But your hands are too full. You don't need to burn your life down. That's not your path. You're not a wildfire. You're not a storm. You're the ground those things pass through. But even the earth must shift. Even mountains must erode. Because evolution is not chaos. It's realignment. Let that settle into your bones. You are not being punished. You are being invited. To surrender. To shift. To say, I trust what I cannot control. And that sentence. That's your soul's initiation. Not into instability. But into truth. What would happen if you stopped holding everything together? What if you allowed the unanswered questions? The imperfect timing. The messy beginning. What if you trusted that you don't have to know in order to move? That is your test, Taurus. Because your growth isn't in perfecting the path. It's in walking it anyway. The truth is, the most profound transformations don't come with instructions. They arrive like earthquakes. Like unexpected winds that scatter your carefully arranged life. And in those moments, you have two choices. Cling to the ruins. Or rise from them. But Taurus often clings. Because you've worked so hard. You've sacrificed. You've stayed still when others ran. You've stayed strong when others crumbled. And now the universe is asking you to loosen your grip. To trust something you can't see. Yes. Because that's where your next level lives. There's a part of you, ancient, wise, unshakable, that already knows how to do this. The part that doesn't live in fear. The part that remembers, life is not about control. It's about alignment. And alignment isn't something you force. It's something you allow. When you stop trying to control the timing, the right opportunities begin to appear. When you stop managing everyone else's expectations, your real voice begins to rise. When you stop resisting the unknown, your intuition finally speaks. And you remember something. You were never here to just survive. You were here to become. To become something wild and stable. Sacred and grounded. Evolved, not efficient. So ask yourself, what have you been controlling so tightly that you've forgotten why you even wanted it? Is it the job that gives you security but robs your joy? The image that keeps you respected but makes you feel empty? The routine that keeps you sane but also makes you feel numb? What are you clinging to that's quietly killing your soul? And what if letting go isn't losing? What if it's unlocking? Because here's the secret. The life you want is already trying to reach you. But it can't enter a space that's already full. You are being called to clear space. Not to prove anything. Not to control the outcome. But to show the universe that you are ready. Not ready to be safe. But ready to be true. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need to calculate every risk. You don't need to ask for permission from the world you've outgrown. You just need to move. Gently. Bravely. Honestly. Because the universe isn't testing you. It's inviting you. To finally stop controlling the river. And let it carry you. Yes, Taurus. You are Earth. But you are living Earth. You grow. You shift. You crack open and bloom again. Control was never your true power. Your true power is presence. And in presence, you hear your soul whisper. It's time. Time to release what you've outlived. Time to trust without knowing. Time to step forward, barefoot, into uncertainty, and call it sacred. No more negotiating with fear. No more building your identity around stability. No more postponing your joy. Because stability without soul is just stagnation. And you, Taurus, you deserve so much more than survival. You deserve movement that feels like music. Decisions that feel like devotion. Growth that feels like peace. So if you're still here, if your heart is pounding, if your gut is whispering, this is for me. It is. And it always has been. You are allowed to outgrow what once kept you safe. You are allowed to change your mind, your life, your future. You are allowed to be more than what you've been. The question is not, what if it all goes wrong? The question is, what if it all goes right, but only if you let go? You don't need to know what's next. You just need to trust that something more is waiting. And it is. It's already here. It's you. So subscribe. Stay close. The next truth is coming. And it's going to break something wide open. Let it.